Welcome to the Cyber Sangha podcast. Cyber Sangha is a program of free live broadcasts, launched in 2009 by renowned teacher and author Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. Join us as we draw on ancient Tibetan wisdom to discover how to connect with our best self and live to our highest potential. The following conversation profiles in generosity, sharing loving kindness through organ donation, happened on July 4th, 2023, with Marina and Bob Felix, Larissa Scherbatow, Marion Chaygneaud-Dupuy, Erick Rinner, and Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. This was part of a year-long series on embracing life with wisdom and compassion. This content is for informational purposes only. Listeners should consult medical professionals for any physical or mental health concerns. Please use headphones and do not meditate while driving or operating machinery.
So, welcome all our Cyber Sangha members and my Facebook friends. So today we have very special guests here, and it's a beautiful story, beautiful experience here. And so here we have Bob and Larissa and Marina, mom and daughter together. We have here Erick and Marion. So welcome all of you here. I don't want to take too much of your time. So people who are interested more on knowing about them, we have in our link their bio, their degree, all their achievements, and so on, so on. But I think here today, the main point of this generosity and love, something that every spiritual tradition, we talk, we know what it means. We trying to do our best, but in this particular story, it's a beautiful experience, So, case of like Larissa and Marina, that a mom donating her kidney, and it happened in 2013, right? 2013,
Yep.
And then of course Bob supporting it, and the similar situation here, Marion donating her kidney to Erick, her husband. So the deep sense of what I feel is very much this like a selfless, because every time when you have to, we always get in touch with ourself and self, that there's a limit what you can do, what you cannot do, and particularly in this organ donation, it's an amazing thing, when you have to go through that. I don't know, questions and working with it, and then fear, and then okay, not, and opening up yourself, giving, and then knowing not know how it's going to go is an amazing journey. So I really wanted to hear from story from the source. So I would like to maybe Larissa or Marina, whoever you want, mom, daughter, whoever you want to start from one, and then we can move with the other one.
Marina will start.
Okay. Well, when I was 29, I was told unexpectedly by my doctors that my kidneys are not functioning as they should. And it wasn't clear what the problem was. So I just, I was very busy. I was working on Wall Street. I was working in corporate finance, in American Express, in venture capital. And the schedule was so crazy that somehow, I experienced no symptoms. So it was just not a part of my concern. And the doctors would say, maybe you should check something, maybe you should do something. But, the next day I would be on a plane somewhere, underslept. And it just wasn't really kind of hitting home as a part of my reality. Besides, it was, I was losing function, but it was very slow. So I wasn't expecting that it's going to hit me abruptly at some point. But it did, actually. And in 2013, in May, my kidneys failed. I have to be honest that I didn't want to take my mother's kidney at all, and neither did I want to go on dialysis. Dialysis didn't seem like a good life to me, the very opposite of the definition of freedom and liberation, if you will, even on the physical plane. So I said no originally to my doctors. And then, my mother was always there to offer me her kidney, but I thought there must be risk to that. And how can I possibly take somebody's potentially not just kidney, but life? And how could I live with myself after that? So there was a lot of this internal struggle going on. And then at some point, what started happening is I wasn't unable to breathe because I guess your lungs are filling with water. And, the first couple of days I thought, well, if it's my time, then we all know this is not the end. And there was almost curiosity as a part of it arising. But in the next 48 hours, the physical suffering became really unbearable. I wasn't able to sleep at all, not even sitting. And after 2 nights of no sleep, Bob said, I can't take it anymore. And he took me to the emergency room, really, at one of the university hospitals in our area. There, they just looked at me. I have vague recollections about it, but he said they just looked at you and they put you right through into immediately the surgery area, and there was a team working on me in the moment. They were trying to get me to breathe again. I was losing oxygen very quickly because my lungs weren't functioning. And very quickly, again, without my consent or anything, they put a catheter into my chest for me to get me on dialysis. And that's really how my journey started. For 6 months, I was on dialysis, and it was not enjoyable. But somehow I found peace with it. I've accepted it. I've surrendered to it, and there was peace, really. Rinpoche, again, I'm sure you can explain that feeling when you accept and surrender something completely. The suffering just goes away because, of course, it's all in our mind. The physical suffering wasn't there as much. There was just weakness. I wasn't able to do much. I wasn't interested in doing much. It's still very low energy levels. And that's when my mother put her foot down, really, and said, okay, we're doing it. I just went along with it because she said, I'm not taking no from you at all. You're my daughter and you're my responsibility. And if I have to give you life once, I will give you life once again. And so the process started. I was on dialysis only for 6 months. After that, I had a transplant in December of 2013, and I had the kidney function immediately. And it's been pretty much almost back to normal life ever since. Of course, I'm taking immunosuppressants, and there are certain limitations, like especially during COVID time. It's not the great time for anyone immunosuppressed. But otherwise, I can knock on wood. I had almost a smooth journey since then. I won't go into much details on the physical side. My mother was there every step of the way for me. I didn't have any fear personally of the surgery. I realized that it is a very long 5-hour something surgery, and there are risks inherent. Her surgery was laparoscopic, so they take kidneys through take it out through several short cuts. And her surgery was 1.5 hours, and mine was 5 hours. And I remember she came to me once when I was trying to recover from another dialysis session and said, when I think of what we have to go through, it's impacts my psyche somehow. She's a very, very strong and brave person. My girlfriends, when I was a child, called her Margaret Thatcher, jokingly. So, but she said, that's a bit rattling. And I said, I feel like I have nothing to lose, so I have no fear at all. And so that's pretty much our journey. She's still there for me every day. And in addition to all the deep love that naturally a child has for their mother, I have this profound and overwhelming sometimes feeling of gratitude to her, because, as I said, not every mother gives life to her child twice.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful, touching story.
Would you like to say something, Mama?
No, they did a good speech. I think pretty full pictures. I just want to say that, of course, like any normal person, I have a little bit doubting. I hope that something happen and medical treatment will happen and help us. But when I decided that I saw her eyes, I could see in her eyes the death sign. The last day when they left, they lost the color and she could not breathe, she could not sleep, she's just trying and again just losing the possibility to, it was terrible. And so after that I said, of course, yes, no problem and no doubting anymore, and we will go and pass through that. I hope she will live for a long time and be more healthy and every day. Okay.
So I know, like all people who are watching here, maybe coming in and out, maybe not know exactly what's happening here. Here we have Larissa and Marina here, mother and daughter. And mother has in 2013 donated her kidney to her daughter. As Marina said, she gave twice life. So after the transplant, everything success. Both are healthy, wonderful to see that. So this is a very touching story. Also, this whole idea of generosity. There's a many form of generosity, but sometimes when a strong, selfless generosity, like two people have as either as a couple, as a mother and daughter, family, but something ability to give piece of your organ away to another person. It requires a lot of selflessness, and transcending the self and the fear and the stories, and then this pure love. So I think this is the story here. So next, maybe Bob, you wanted to say something. You are also in between there as a husband supporting. So please, if you wanted to share anything before we move to Erick and Marion.
Sure, thank you, Rinpoche. Yeah, it's been 10 years now, and I think back to, especially to those last few days, and we really had to prepare ourselves that we may lose Marina. And it's still a little emotional now to think back. It was a difficult time. And but Larissa was very strong. The transplant process put her through quite a few steps to prepare, and so that's why it took 6 months for them to actually do the transplant. But she went through quite a bit in order to prepare, and we just love her and thank her.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I known both of you for I don't know how many years now. Is it
20 years now? I think.
Yeah, it's a long time, and I do remember those times when you're going through these challenges and talking about it. But Marina is. I remember. I mean, you are always very strong. As you said, your mom is very strong. I can see both of you are strong. So that not only a sense of strong, I think also this sense of surrender, as you said, surrendering, trusting the outcome, which we don't know what's going to happen, but ability to trust, and especially not having fear during those transitions is amazing. So I think I hope that, but also maybe whole process also make you very strong and stronger than maybe before. So I hope that, everything goes well. So so Erick and Marion, so maybe Erick, so who wants to start? Marion, you want to start?
Erick can start.
Okay, Erick
right.
can start.
Well, first of all, I'm deeply touched by Marina and Larissa's story, because although I've been through it very recently, I'm a baby in transplantation because I was just 4 months ago. But what you said, really deeply moved me. I got diagnosed in 2005 on the way back from New York Marathon. I thought I was very fit. I was also working in private equity, so in finance, and working too hard, 70, 80 hours a week, running myself to the ground. And then discovered I was not superhuman, and that all of a sudden I was given 2 to 3 years before kidney transplant. And thanks to the disease, I met the Dharma, changed my life completely. I met one of the doctors of the Dalai Lama in 2006, who told me that he could help me to deal with it, but I wouldn't start by changing the way I think, the way I work, the way I eat. So I was very fortunate that I managed to basically last 18 years compared to the 2 or 3 years I was given at the beginning. So very grateful for that. Meeting His Holiness in the meantime. And His Holiness really gave me so much hope and so much help. And then I met through Mathieu Ricard, the French monk. I met Marion through other friends in 2012 before she was climbing the Everest. And then, thanks to COVID, Marion came back from Tibet to Europe, and we've been together since then. And my kidney function was, slowly going down. And last year in Switzerland, in Lausanne, I was told that I really should get to the transplantation. And Marion was, very, she foresaw that, we would need it at some stage. So she did all the tests, and we found that we were 99% compatible, which is quite amazing. It's a bit like, as if we would be brother and sister or parents, which is incredible. And what I forgot to say is that thanks to Marion, I met you, Rinpoche, back in 2015, which was a big moment for me, because what's been happening since then is that I think I really managed to stay longer with my failing kidneys thanks to the 3 doors, because they've been with me every day during the day, helping me to rest, which was something I never did before. I was unable to rest at all in my life. I was always busy. And resting, I think, really helped my kidney to last longer. So that awareness was amazing. In October, they wanted me to start dialysis, but I said, no, I need to go to Dharamsala to see His Holiness as part of the Mind and Life Dialogue. So they said, I don't think you should go. And I said, yeah, I'm going. So Marion and I went to see His Holiness and got the blessing. And then came back. They wanted me, to go on dialysis again. And I said, well, I need to teach a retreat to 60 doctors, and I will do that afterwards. I said, I was down to 5% kidney function, like Marissa. The risk was that I would get, water in my lungs. But I said, look, I'm going to lead this retreat, and then we'll see what happens. And then in January, I had only 6 weeks of dialysis. So very, fortunate, because it's, looking at all these people who've been there for years and who don't have, the chance to have, a potential donor. It's incredible. So I felt so grateful already, even before the transplantation. And then, of course, the moment arrived, and we went to the hospital, and after doing the final test, and we were together in the same room. And in the morning, I saw Marion, go to the surgery theater at 7 o'clock, and I went at 10 o'clock, and then by late afternoon, they drove me back to the intensive care, and I could see Marion, in her bedroom. So we waved each other and feeling amazingly, alive. And then again, your teachings were incredible because I stayed 8 days in intensive care because I was urinating too much. Marion kidney, according to the surgeon, is a competitive or international competition kidney. Is working so well in my body, so I'm back to 80% function. And but it was difficult to count the kidney. It's Marion is viewed by the Tibetans as a wild animal, a snow leopard, and effectively a kidney in me is like, whoa, quite active. And but during this time in intensive care, I was totally in open awareness, thinking about your teachings. I am no one, I can be anyone. And I was like, and I was thinking also of His Holiness, advice in last October, saying, the most important thing is oneness of 7 billion sentient beings. And he would repeat that a lot during the teachings. And I could feel that, say, oh, we are one, actually. The doctors, the patients, the nurses, we are one. And I was resting, in that awareness in the 3 doors, but also just, we are one. And I was just filled with gratitude. We were thinking about this, I don't know why, because I've never been in Zen, but the Zen master, Suzuki, saying, when you meditate, you're not inside, you're not outside, you just open. And I felt so much open, all day, filled up with gratitude. And Marion would visit me and we would spend, time together. And I was so happy. And then my health was getting already better after a few days, although I was connected to all these machines. But still, I was so grateful to Marion, but to everyone. So there was this huge joy in me that I had never experienced before, which was quite... amazing, and Marion as well. I would be able to witness that. It was, I think, some of the best days of my life as well. I think Marion probably will share that as well. So amazing experience, and I'm fully. I'm 90% recovered. I can't run yet, but I can really sit and meditate. And I was at your teaching in May in Switzerland, and it felt so wonderful, to be connected to the Sangha and to you, and just, go back to normal life, which is not so normal. And it's, thanks to this generosity of Marion and, to this incredible technology that helps us to be alive. So to Marion now.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, Marion.
Well, I don't know if I should start from the end, because being touched by what Erick just said is a level of openness of the surgery. So I'll start with this time and then go backwards to how I first felt I wanted to give a kidney. But yeah, the surgery time really helped us to connect at a completely different level of openness with each. Love was already there, of course, but with the vulnerability and with the kind of interdependence between he and I, like being kind of connected through the kidney transplants, it was really like amazing, the connection between the two of us. And I could feel how much Erick was open and in gratitude and kind of almost like a post-surgery euphoria of being alive again. I had some up and downs of like, I didn't have the energy that I had before. So I was feeling like, wow, something is kind of like a void inside of me. And I needed actually to be near him more often. Then to go back to my first intention to when I was a teenager, I already wanted to give an organ. I didn't know which one because I was not really good at anatomies and things like that. But I started to study Buddhism Dharma at a young age, around 16, and already at that time I kind of knew that I wanted to do that. And then I spent 22 years of my life in Himalayas, studying Buddhism and also doing some projects for helping people around. So compassion was actually the main driver, the only driver really that I found when I was young. And then, yeah, that's what I feel. I mean, that's what makes sense to me. And if I die with just experiencing compassion at different levels, different kind of ways to be at service, yeah, that's what make my life worse. I mean, not worse because I don't need something for life to be worthy, but that's what I like to do. And so, yeah, I first told Erick when we met, first year we met, that I was ready to give a kidney. And then he had also different people around him he wanted to do that as well. And so I took the first kind of initiative to do the compatibility test before we were going through this process, because I thought it was good actually that if we live together, we feel the empathy that's what is the other person going through, so that actually if I experience it together with him, then it will be much easier to deal with the whole thing, because it's for long life lasting experience, so I prefer to embark from the beginning, to be part of the journey. And then after we decided on the date, fix the date for for the surgery, we made a group of friends and family, so that actually people could get informed about the transplant journey. And what was amazing, that 1 or 2 months before, we started to have a lot of support, and people were really also, I think, feeling the love and the compassion at the same time that we were in this process. So it was like more than 100 of people who were praying and sending their compassion. So actually it became much more than just or two of us had connection and adventure. It was being supported. And then, of course, for the surgery, the day before, 2 days before, the help of our teacher, Rinpoche, who was there with us. I mean, not physically, but he was really there with us. So I think we did both a lot of practice to visualize the Guru Yoga. And after the surgery, also for the week, it was chanting the cellular mantra a lot. So helping to clean up also some of the other things that had to go. I mean, from my side, I had to let go of something, the kidney, but also some other fixed ideas of different part of self that needed to be cleaned. So the practice helped, and now I feel more vulnerability. And before this transplant journey, I had kind of like a very strong personality of I can deal with anything by myself. And I didn't know really much about the interdependence in terms of experiencing it on a daily basis. So now I feel like I'm learning that, to be stronger in the vulnerability and experiencing interdependence. And no, I'm happy.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I remember the day I was in Mexico, and I got up early in the morning, and I sent the prayers, and I see so many people sending prayers. I think people, of course, apart from people love you both and wanted to support you, but I think also people are very inspired that. But I mean, this is a special that, that the generosity and the love, not only in words and ideas, but in some sense of very much in action. And it's, I mean, basically giving, as you said, giving part of yourself away, and which is, there's some sense of uncertainty and some vulnerability, and being exposed to this vulnerability and letting go of that part of the self. And I think in some sense that some piece of you goes, but the bigger piece of you comes back in a fullness. as an individual and as a collective. I think that sense of bigger self, definitely is a realization of that, right? So I think it's a beautiful. So I hope that,
there's also something, if I may, is
yes, please.
and it'd be interesting to know what Marissa thinks, but the also the beginning, the difficulty to accept to be helped and basically to be saved, because I was someone, who was also very I mean, used to be on my own, not to ask for help, to really do everything by myself. And then all of a sudden, my life was depending on Marion's generosity. And that's not that easy to accept, to receive the most beautiful gift, because this is life.
Yes, that's wonderful. Yeah. So, Marina, and anybody want to say anything? Please just welcome. Just talk, ask each other, share with each other, or make comment with each other. So welcome.
One other thing I wanted to add is that Rinpoche, you and Tsering introduced us to Tibetan doctors over the years when this was all happening, and especially Dr. Kelsang Wangyal has been just a treasure. Erick, and you probably know that the immunosuppressants have some side effects, and dealing with that has been part of the journey too. And what has really made a huge difference is the Tibetan medicine, and we thank you for that too. That's also a gift.
Yeah, thank you, Rinpoche. Really appreciate that. I understand, Erick, you have been on Tibetan medicine as well?
Yes, for 18 years before the transplantation, but I haven't resumed it yet. So that's something I would like to do to effectively, deal, as Bob said, with the side effects, which I don't feel yet.
Yeah, you probably won't feel a lot of side effects depending on your regimen, but I have to tell you that you have to be very careful, because what I have found that some of the medicines definitely decrease the levels of immunosuppressants, and some of them increase it because the liver enzyme responsible for clearing out and metabolizing the medicines actually the same that are metabolizing some of immunosuppressants. And so it could increase the level and could decrease the level. I was a bit more lax about it, but lately something happened and I had to pay more attention to it. So every time my Tibetan doctor changes it, my Tibetan medicines, I have to go and in a couple of 3 days check the levels, and then sometimes I have to do that again. I don't know if it's possible to ask you, what are you on exactly for immunosuppressant?
Oh, I am on Cellset, which is the morning, evening, and then I am on Advagraph, which is the another one, Advagraph.
They didn't put you on prednisone then?
Yes, I'm sorry, and the third one is prednisone, just now 5 milligrams in the morning. So that's why I'm still actually a bit chubby, and I need to lose weight.
I have the same problem. Once I wasn't on prednisone for the first 10 years, but unfortunately I have a tiny setback. Lately, when the war started in Ukraine, and being from Russia, it was such a, I mean, any war horrible under any circumstances, but the fact that the country I was born in is doing that in the 21st century in the middle of Europe, some so wild and medieval and horrifying that I went to kind of deep stress state for months. And then my creatinine started coming up all of a sudden. So I had to go and check what's going on. And they said that I started having slight borderline rejection, after which they had to put me on prednisone. And we went through everything I've done. And the only reason they think it started is because they kept me on a very low level of immunosuppressants, since I was close enough to my mother's. And now they had to increase them dramatically, unfortunately, put me back on prednisone as well, and some IV, steroid IV.
No, in Europe or in Switzerland, they do that as a kind of a preventive action. So just a little bit of prednisone, so this is cortisone, and yeah, apparently I'm supposed to take that for the rest of my life, but maybe at an even lower dose. Yeah, but no, what I would say is that is also the the love or the compassion from doctors, from nurses, that we received was just amazing, and the connection, and that's also for me linked to Rinpoche's teaching. This ability, to reconnect to oneself, to the stillness, the silence, the spaciousness, but then that very strong ability to connect with people, thanks to the 3 doors. So, just resting, and then, wow, you can just, I was so impressed by the way I could naturally then, connect to all the doctors and nurses, and that was supporting me, so much. Same thing as Marion said with the group, feeling connected, to Rinpoche, to all our family and friends. And then, being able to rest in that oneness, and that for me, that was an incredible experience. There's nothing more. And this is where you touch, for me, what is, spirituality is that sense of just, universal awareness, Buddha nature, and that, we're part of just one, big consciousness, and that's very touching. I mean, for me, that was just incredible. This universal love that His Holiness talks about. You, Rinpoche, as well, feeling just a tiny part of it.
Yes, I understand
Well,
completely. I
yeah.
understand. And that's when you are part of open awareness and you realize that you're part of everybody and there's really oneness, what happens, ego goes away. And when ego cracks or goes away, it's really what pushes people away from you. So when that is gone, there is a natural attraction, and that's really one of the things that I found in Rinpoche when we started the company. Bob and I said, enough of corporate stress, all of that. Let's just work on things that we love and with people that we love. And I remember when he introduced me to Rinpoche first time, that is exactly what I saw in him, is that bright light, which is open awareness. And there was no ego there. It was just openness and warmth. And I just felt immediately that feeling of welcome from inside of me, an immediate connection. And said, this is the person I want to work with. I want to have a friend in this person, and that's the person I want to learn from. And that's really what the experience that you describe as well, because people see that absence of ego, and that's the barrier basically, and they welcome you.
Probably you don't know that Bob and Marina are one who runs the Glide Wing program, so they're the one who runs it. So we've been collaborating for last I don't know, what is it, like 20 years or 25 years or something?
14 years, I think now.
Oh, is that? So we've known each other for
We've known each other for 20 years, but we started the workshops in 2009.
So a very long time. So wonderful, yeah. It's a wonderful experience working with both of you, and I think we also have affected many people's lives, so which is also wonderful. So I just wanted to go back to the Marion's, you starting following teaching very young age, and as you said, that's something wanting to donate, wanting to give your organ away at a very early age, and it seems like a kind of very interesting. And then you did not know who wants it. Where you can get. Finally, you found right there next to you, right?
No, actually, that's true. I was really grateful to Erick because he gave me the opportunity. Really, I mean, that's the story behind it. Yeah, because I really felt grateful that thanks to him, I could give an organ. And then the psychologist at the hospital who took us for the transplant, he was a little bit worried about me because he didn't understand why, I had this idea, and it's in young age. And then I told him, no, but it's okay. I mean, I can help in different ways, it's just one way. And this one way is just, it makes sense right now because there is a real need for Erick to get the kidney. So I was not really completely obsessed about it, of course. I was just, ready to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
The two psychologists were,
Erick,
the two psychologists were very worried about us because they could see we were not stressed. We were okay. As actually, Marissa said, Marina said, we were just, open and ready and just, facing reality just as it is. So one of them gave us, this wonderful scientific article from Francisco Varela, where he describes in the first person his experience of a liver transplant. It's a beautiful article. I also talked to Amy Varela, that Marion and I know through Man and Life, and she shared, the experience of that transplantation. But at the hospital, they couldn't understand, and we said, we are basically meditators. We just, we are just here moment by moment. It's okay, So and they were really struggling with that. They were a little worried that we were just taking this, not seriously enough. And after we talked to them, for a couple of hours, then they really understood actually we were just grounded, just ready. But it was something, kind of strange experience, being quizzed by psychologists that were really trying to get us stressed.
One more thing about the idea that I had when I was a teenager, of course, when I first studied Dharma, was that the story or the metaphor of the Buddhas as a tiger, the tigress, giving part of his body to the child, for the child to stay alive because he didn't have enough food so that story actually made me think that I wanted to give an organ.
Well, thank you so much. So beautiful, inspiring stories, and I hope all our listeners here. So many times in our life we get caught up in so many stories, little personal stories, many stories, and especially in relationship, like a family relationship, couple relationship, we make story out of nothing, big story out of small stories. But when your heart is open, when you let go of your part of yourself, and then anything is possible, any gift is possible, any receiving is possible, because you are really becoming a more bigger, discovering and becoming a more bigger self for yourself, but letting go of some small part of yourself which you identify a lot. But these are the experiences one can have. So I hope that we all, with these beautiful, heartwarming stories, let's inspire ourselves and trying to take a little baby step of opening up generosity that we can do in every life, every part of our life, little moment of our life. So I hope this is my prayer to all of us and myself. So thank you very much for all of you coming and making a special time. I hope all of you enjoy too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marina, Larissa.
Thank you for listening to the Cyber Sangha podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Cyber Sangha, visit us online at cybersangha.net.